Well, she's a tough little cookie. She, grew up in foster care, so she didn't really have a chance at, experiencing what love or, friendship is even. She's really closed off, doesn't have a lot of people in her life, and then she stumbles upon this guy in a chat room and finds a true connection, and it's kind of their journey to figuring out who they are and where they fit in the world. I think they'll learn to appreciate, the world for the little things, just that much more. My biggest takeaway from this movie is like what it is to be in water, what it is to be in nature, what it is to live the life that we do. We're so privileged, and instead of thinking of it as like, entitlement, like we need it, we deserve it, appreciate it a little more.
3 years ago they sent me the script as it was then, and I was just struck with it very immediately. It's a really unusual story. I loved its scope, but at the same time I loved that it had this really intimate heart beating at the center of it, a love story. It's in that massive setting, I just thought, beautiful. I'll do it. Getting the gravity right was tough, the zero gravity in space and then the 1/3 gravity on Mars, because it's a plot point, because this is a story about a boy who couldn't cope with the gravity differences when he came to Earth, so we really had to get that right. A lot of wires and harnesses and, tough on the actors. But I actually loved it. I've never done essentially a sci-fi movie before, but it suited me, I want to do a lot more sci-fi movies.
I was asked, this has been about a year ago, to be part of this film, and I got to read the script, and I thought it was fantastic. So I haven't seen the movie yet, so this is really exciting for me. And they wanted me to write a few different songs, and I did. And I don't want to give too much away, but there's one scene, and it's really beautiful and magical, and I got to see the scene first, and they had temp music in, so I knew the vibe they wanted, but then I had to kind of create my own, and it was really special when I finally got like the yes, this is what we got, this is good, we got it, we love it. So I'm pretty jazzed to see it used and to see it like on the big screen, because I haven't seen it yet.
Kendra is an astronaut, and actually, in fact, something that you kind of wonder what her history was in the movie, and what was there earlier on in the process and kind of informs what you see now, is that she was an expert in terraforming, and she got sent up to Mars, she thought, to terraform, and she realizes, in fact, it was to be sort of a glorified babysitter for Gardner, and it's something that she never saw herself as a mother at this point, and was really kind of escaping her past. And of course ends up caring deeply for this young kid and raising him and being not only kind of a unwitting mother figure to him, but also best friends and co-workers and all of these things. And she realizes at the point at which he is having this relationship online, basically, with Britt Robertson's character Tulsa, that she can't deny him that connection, and that she wants to make it happen for him to go to Earth and experience life and the messiness of life that she's actually run away from. But I think that, all the things that have sort of broken her, she doesn't want to break him, and she wants him to experience life. So it's a really beautiful movie and a really interesting relationship. So for these four people who are all loners, some by choice, some not, and in finding each other, kind of find this reason to be alive.
Gardner he's the first human born on Mars, and I guess this film is about his journey to find out who he is and find out where he belongs, and his quest to find his dad and to meet Tulsa, this girl he's been talking to. And he's this odd ball of kind of innocence and awe, and he just is in wonder at everything on Earth because he's never experienced it before. It's a strange amalgamation of so many different genres and ideas. It is a love story, it's a road trip, and it's a coming-of-age film set in space for some of it. So it's, it'll be original, and it'll be unique, and it'll be, hopefully, it will touch you.
We started with a very simple idea. A writer came in, a fellow writer, and said, I have a crazy idea. What would happen if an astronaut discovered she was pregnant on the first flight to Mars? Which is pretty outrageous. So we called NASA, and they said, have you been listening to our phone calls? And I said, what are you talking about? And they said, it's going to happen. We don't know quite what to do. We're not prepared to give birth in flight or on Mars. We're not prepared to abort. We're not prepared to turn the ship around. So that launched the whole story.
It was a fun character for me, because I got to wear an actual spacesuit that had already been to space, so that was quite exciting to put something on that been out of this world. Do you know what I mean? There's something quite special about that. And it was very different from the job I'd been doing for 3 years, where I'd been playing a witch. It was like more futuristic than that. So it was nice to play kind of an astronaut. I mean, it's all the things you dream about as a kid, all the things that you think you're going to do as a job, and then you pick actress, and you're like, oh no, you kind of get to do them all, which is fun.